follow their vision to build businesses, institutions, or services that serve, profit, and uplift our community. Listen as we share the ideas, experiences, and skills that help to shape their unique stories of commitment, perseverance, and triumph. Be inspired and catch your vision on Visions of Our People. Now, here's our host.
Pamoja Tutashenta, brothers and sisters. Together, we will win. Today, Visions of Our People is sharing the vision of Coach Nanyamka Afi Mwafrika Moor, who was born in Atlanta, Georgia, to her mom and dad, Andrea Bordisha and Brian Kefing Moor, who were full-time missionaries for the Shrines of the Black Madonna of the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church, and she was raised in Detroit, Michigan. Beginning at the age of 6, basketball was introduced to her in the parking lot of the Shrines of the Black Madonna National Training Center, where she became involved in the church basketball team, the BCN Warriors, led by Coach Kehinde Bud Briggs. Nanyamka was adopted by a church group leader, Bishop Adal Ojere, who blessed her with the nickname Nan. Nan later joined the Oakland Suns and the Michigan Monarchs Amateur Athletic Union AAU team in Detroit. Nan excelled in basketball and track and field at Ferndale High School, where she became a Michigan High School Athletic Association high school all-state athlete for a couple of events. Nan received a full-ride basketball scholarship to Indiana University, Purdue University at Fort Wayne, IPFW, where she received a bachelor's degree in mass media and public communications with a minor in media production. She credits a lot of her collegiate success to the ancestral transition of Osakwe Jahi, Major Kokai Anaharo, her uncle, Carl Randolph, and her college teammate, Starla Williams, as their energy helped guide her through her college years. Nan played semi-pro basketball for the Flint Monarchs for 5 years. At the age of 24, Nan ironically took a 6-month break from basketball since the age of 6 years old, where she would work for General Motors truck plant in Fort Wayne, Indiana. She had one plan during her time at General Motors, and that was to not be working in that industry longer than a year. That goal was achieved when she got the call to be the graduate assistant coach at Claflin University, her first collegiate job. Nan went to Claflin and worked alongside her former pro head coach, Deontay McChester, and former pro teammate, Letitia Luckett, who was also an assistant coach there. Together, they turned around a losing culture into a culture of success, eventually coining it My Choice. While at Claflin, Nan earned her Master's of Business MBA degree. Nan then took her skills to Roberts Wesleyan University in Rochester, New York. In their first year, the team achieved a winning record that had not happened in over 8 years. Nan was then sought out by her former college assistant coach, Mahogany Green, to join her at her new job at Hamilton College in Clinton, New York. Nan would connect for her final stint in coaching with Tiffany Sarton at Chicago State University at the NCAA Division I level. Tiffany and Nan met during Nan's sister Imani's collegiate career at the University of Illinois at Chicago, UIC, where Tiffany was her former assistant coach. Having success at all 3 levels of the NCAA collegiate athletics, Nan knew it was time to impact the world on a larger scale. Over the past 3 years, Nan would spend time acquiring her life insurance license to work with Freedom Equity Group. She would excel through coaching in the areas of team building, community service, and mentorship to the players. Her commitment to being the best version of herself is what opened the door for her gifts to shine through her own business. That business is Open Arms. Touch a Hand, Touch a Heart, LLC. The second quarter of Nanyamka Nan Moor's life has just begun. Today, Visions of Our People is sharing the vision of our middle child, Nanyamka Afi Mwafrika Moor. She's the owner of a consulting firm that specializes in team and group empowerment called Open Arms. Welcome to Visions of Our People, young lady.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. Looking forward to a great podcast and sharing my vision with our people.
It's a pleasure to share this space with Such a beautiful, intelligent young lady. And I want to start off like I start off all my conversations. Who is Nanyamka Afi Umwafrika Moor?
I'm a divine creation of my name, and the meaning of my name stands for God's gift. That is who I am. That is what I encompass every day. I am a sister. I am a daughter. I am a friend. I'm a mentor. I am a person who is, big in community, and I'm just a student of learning and developing and being able to be the best version of myself each and every day. And I am a community leader.
Amen. Well, that's a great I am, young lady. So what would you say is your gift and your purpose?
I think my gifts is making a positive impact on people that I've come in contact with. I think that's been something that has been a feedback for me from quite a few players that I've coached, friends that I have, people who I've came in contact with throughout the course of my life. Just being able for them to come back one day and say, thank you for, what this lesson you taught me, or thank you for being the energy and being consistent, stuff like that. I think that has been a purpose of my gift, and just providing tools to help other people reach their full potential. I think that's been one of my strongest gifts. Is a lot of people put in for me to be able to tap into my full potential. So I think it has only been fitting that I've been able to provide that light for so many people as well.
Well, when you and I took the bus ride back from Atlanta to Detroit together. Now, you were, I think, 5 or 6 years old, and an elderly sister came up to me and said she was so good. She rode us the entire Greyhound bus trip, and you were. And we were able to, once we got to Detroit, we got you hooked up with Coach Bud Kehinde Briggs in the BCN Warriors, and you became a basketball player, and you wound up being a basketball star. What life lessons did you learn from basketball and playing sports that helped you cultivate your gift and walk in your purpose?
I think I've learned a number of lessons. I think some that stood out, 6 that I'll point out today. I learned that it takes a team to win. Nothing can happen alone, and that's also understanding the group process and knowing that not one person is stronger than the other. I think I've also learned everybody unique differences make the whole. You have to have differences. Everybody can't be alike, because if that's the case, then you're going to have too many mindsets that are going to be similar and not anything that's going to oppose it or create better solutions and things of that nature. So that's probably number 2. Be you. I think that has been a key part of me, being me. No matter what team I've been on, I've tried to stay true to my gifts and my talents, and I've excelled on certain things that I was told I couldn't do. And I allowed that to take me to even greater levels and greater heights. And I played with some of the best that I feel like that some of the best in the world, some of the best in Michigan, some of the best in college. I've either played with or against, and that has allowed me to definitely be unique, is just being true to who I am as a person and my skill set. Everybody role is important. That's been key, knowing that every individual has a job, and sometimes your job may not be the job you want to be, but as long as you are contributing, that's ultimately what matters, and that helps with the success of the team and the structure of where your team is trying to go, and ultimately it's how they're trying to evolve throughout time as people change and people leave. As long as that team continues to have similar roles, it'll bring success. Set standards and live up to it. Not only as a player, but as a coach, I've allowed standards to kind of lead me and guide me and hold me true to who I'm trying to be. And as long as I've, stayed true to those things, my standards, regardless of what other people's standards were. I think that has created my integrity to be high, and a lot of people to really value who I am as a person, and it showed throughout my time playing and coaching. And then the last things that I was told at a young age and told by a mentor of mine, Bakari Alexander, he said, treat the game. It's like a relationship. You good to it, it'll be good to you. And you treat it right. You guide it. You play with it. You nurture it. You flourish in it. It'll take you places that you've never imagined. Open doors for you that you would never thought would have happened. And he told me that when I first went to college, and I actually wrote one of my first college papers in regards to that topic. And it really has stood true to today.
Well, sure, young lady. Coach Bakari and many others, Candia Milton, a bunch of folks have come through the VCN Warrior program, and they've all had a great impact on your life and in our lives, and even on our church's life. What would you say was your biggest moment in playing basketball and coaching it?
I think throughout I would say there has been different moments for me. I think there's been times in high school, college, when I played pro, and then during my coaching time that have all stood out. I think for high school, I guess I would start back in my younger days, playing with the VCN Warriors, the Shrine Warriors, being at that time one of the only sisters that played it during that time at my age. I thought it was important that I didn't really realize it at the time that I was setting the tone to open doors. And once I realized how good I could be, and the WNBA came around not too long after I had started playing, probably when I was 9 or 10, it allowed me to have a vision beyond what I probably thought of just, the everyday church leagues and things of that nature, that I could really aspire to be something more. And then going on and actually finding the Pontiac Bears, where there was an all girls team, and being able to see that there are other young ladies who are playing and have a desire to play, and that really set the tone for me to really be able to understand that this really could be something that could be beneficial to my long term. So along those lines, I continued on, and as I got into middle school and high school, I think high school, one of the biggest moments and lessons from there, stuff that stood out was just our sisterhood. We had my first year, even with Peggy Evans at the time was the head coach then. She had a very well known in the state of Michigan for coaching, and she saw something in me. She allowed me to be on varsity at a young age, and during that time, not too many players, especially in high school, were on varsity. It meant a lot for a freshman to be on varsity in high school at that time. So just her vision and her being able to see that I had something that could contribute. And then when Logan Lanier took over my sophomore year, and I had him my sophomore, junior year, he really built the sisterhood, and that was something that we valued on and off the court. I mean, a lot of those, we all are grown now, but we're still good friends and still big on the connection. And no matter where we are in life, we remember those moments. And that sisterhood was probably key in high school. I'm sure most of my teammates knew that I was talented, and I probably was going to be very successful in basketball. However, they didn't treat me bigger than the team, and my rules followed just as much as everybody else rules followed. I didn't supersede any of that, and those were my sisters. It wasn't any difference in how I was treated from how they were treated, but they did know that, ultimately my talents and my skills when I was where I needed to be would help us be very successful. And then college, I think one of my college moments that stood out was probably when my team and my coaches came to Detroit for Osakwe's funeral. when he passed, I thought that meant a lot. That let me know that they definitely cared and they definitely valued me, not only as a basketball player, but as a person, that they drove down from Fort Wayne, Indiana to come and support me at the memorial and throughout that time in college. And amongst some other things, I had a situation my freshman year, and all of them stood up and showed up, and we took it as a team, and no, not one person said, Nan, it's your fault, or belittle me or degraded me. They all made me feel as though we was in it together, and again, still connections that I still have today. And I think for my pro moment, I think the highlight of my pro was I played on a team for the Monarchs, definitely well known in Michigan and throughout and overseas now, as they've taken their the league and the talents to overseas now. I think a moment stood out for me my first year with the Flint Monarchs. That's when we became the Flint Monarchs. We were originally the Flint Flames. And in that first year, we had a lot of talent, team players from all over Big Ten, the MAAC, the different 8 Atlantic Sun, the MAC. So in my conference was at the time the Summit League, which probably could have been considered one of the smaller leagues compared to the other leagues I just mentioned. But a big part of that season was I had some good success with that team. Was either 4 or 5 time player of the week with that team. And when it came to announcing the team tournament, who made the all tournament, or who made the team, who had the accolades for the season, my name wasn't mentioned. And I remember like it was yesterday, Coach Deontay McChester, who was our pro coach, and I actually coached my first collegiate team with him. He saw the frustration in my face, and he said, "Man, don't say nothing to me till after this game is over. You already know what you got to do." And I went on and had I think 30 points one game, maybe 20 something or 30 the next game. And when they got ready to announce the tournament MVP, the coach from the other team, the Detroit team at the time, Detroit Dodgers, or not Detroit Dodgers, she said, if it ain't number 22, y'all, it better be number 22. Y'all give it to it. I think that moment meant a lot to me, because like, you work hard, you worked hard all season, and get to this point, and you still had to work even harder to get the ultimate goal. But we did win as a team, a lot of success as a team, really good group. So again, another good group that I'm still close to and connected to. A lot of us went on to coach college from that Flint Monarchs team that I was on, and a lot of us are still connected today. So those are some of my highlights from playing. And then from coaching, I just think the fact that a lot of my players today still call and reach out and still contact me on different things. I mean, I had a lot of great success at all levels of the NCAA, Division I, II, and III. Some of the moments that stood out was winning at the D3 level, at a level that is not as respected as the other two, but had a lot of good talent. And we beat some heavy hitters at that level and stayed in some really good games at that level. And then just being able to work with good people, some of the people who I came into the game with or met throughout the course of the game, and they allowed me to continue to be who I was and nurture me and help me flourish, as well as me giving that same energy back to them, and being able to create lifelong bonds. I think that and ultimately having players appreciate you, and it may not happen the years you have them, but when you get a phone call or a text message a couple of years later and they say thank you and they appreciate what you did, that matters more than the coaching part, me actually teaching them basketball.
Yes, that was quite a little journey there, and your mom and I, we were on that journey for much of that time. So all of that energy that we poured into you has made you a great young lady, and we're very proud of you. You mentioned Brother Osakwe, who you also played with as a BCN Warrior. at his funeral when he passed, and your team actually came to. I remember the team bus coming to that funeral and parked outside, and you came inside with your coach and his wife, and that was quite an experience. So you mentioned Osakwe, and there were some other folks that who passed on who influenced your life. How how would you say that Osakwe in particular influenced your life?
I think he influenced me a great deal. I mean, we started in the nursery together. We started off as kids from the stories that I've been told. When I was in my mom's stomach, he would sit and have his head on her stomach and be connected to me. So definitely a major inspiration to not only who I was, but who I am. Once he transitioned, I definitely, took it upon myself to allow his energy to live through me. And he always had positive words for me. He actually pushed me. We would play one-on-one when he lived out in Warren, and I would cry when I would lose to him. And it also toughened me up. It made me a little bit better because I just wanted to beat him at times. Because if I knew if I beat him, then I was going to be pretty good. So, he would come to the games, and him and Diallo Dismuke. I remember when they were little, and they would sit on the sideline and they would repeat everything you were saying and yelling at the referees, and they would be sitting there just both of them. And D went on to become a really good basketball player as well, but both of them little tiny, just over there saying everything you were saying. So I remember stuff like that, but his impact is definitely something I carry with me every day. I did a video on him in college, either my junior or senior year, and it was in regards to somebody who we had to put a video together, and I actually did a video on him, and I was able to talk about his impact on my life, and definitely had really good experience with that. And some of my teammates and my teachers got a chance to really get to know me a little bit better through that video. But yeah, him, and there's a lot of transitions in my collegiate time when I went to college. Major Kokai Anaharo, who was important to me. He, helped create that discipline. But I remember being the last major. He used to record the proms, and we would go to prom and stuff. And I was actually the last prom he recorded. And I thought that was, pretty special. And that stood out to me because, it could have been anybody, but it was me. And I remember going up to a training center, 700 Sword, and he got me on video. I don't know where it's at, but he definitely, that was definitely a big impact on me. And then my Uncle Carl, he transitioned during my collegiate time, and I just remember he played basketball. We didn't talk a lot, but I do know that he valued that I did play basketball. And he would leave his basketball at my grandma's house, and I would go take it and dribble it and stuff like that. And I always thought he was a great guy, had good energy, and he transitioned through my collegiate career, and then just having that all happen between the ages of 18 and 22 is a lot, and it takes a toll on you. But I think being able to have good teammates around and good resources that you can utilize, good people on campus that you can talk to, that all helps. That all carried me through, and just knowing that I had villages, not only in Indiana, but in Detroit and Atlanta, and a lot of different places I could tap into with a lot of different people. And then toward the end of my college career, one of my college teammates, Starla Williams, passed. She transitioned, and that was probably one of the hardest because I actually went to the hospital to see her, and it kind of frightened me because when my grandmother passed, she would always ask me my grandmother Emma, she would always, when she was sick, she would always ask me to come to the hospital. And at the time I was younger, and it scared me going up there. And, I kind of regretted that. So I made the emphasis to go see Starla when she was in the hospital, and I had the opportunity to talk to her and really just, let her know how much she meant to me. And when she was in a coma, and, our teammates went up there, showed support to her. So that portion of it, all of those names, still live in me today. When you go into a room, you take your ancestors with you. You take energy of those who you value and love with you, and all those people. Whenever I'm doing anything, their energy is with me.
For sure, they continue to be with us. But I had no idea that Osakwe and and young Dismuke was listening to how I was hollering at the referees and stuff. But I hated to be that type of influence on them. But I mean, it's all good because we were all family supporting each other. At this point, Nanyamka, Nan, as Bishop Ada gave you that name, I believe. When did you get the vision to start Open Arms?
I mean, I think it was always a vision. We don't know where we are until we walk into that greatness, and you have to take a path and you got to take a journey. But I would say it more so started when I first started college. It originally started off as something that I wanted to do just as a mentor program to the players that I coached or any student athlete at the time who just kind of wanted to tap in and dive into something outside of their everyday sport. So originally I just wanted it to be a sister circle, and I wanted it to be a space where we could come and talk about different things that was going on in their lives, things that they might need better guidance on, stuff of that nature. And never really fully got to that. I did want to touch on in the community with that as well, different schools, different high schools and things of that nature. But it really kind of moved forward. It started then, and it was kind of making its way throughout as I continued to coach and I continued to lead different things in regards to that, different conversations of financial planning and different conversations of what do you aspire to be outside of athletics, and different conversations that I would have at different schools with different players. And it eventually came into the idea of, this is something that's going to be bigger. I did acquire along the way in the last 3 years, I acquired my life insurance license. So I am able to teach financial strategies, and I am a financial strategist or a financial coach that gives me the opportunity to teach, life insurance, retirement planning, things of that nature. So when I was able to acquire that, it did also allow me to be able to teach financial literacy with a certification behind it. So I think once I got that, I said, okay, this can really be something else. And then at the last school I was at, Chicago State, Coach Tiffany Sarden gave me the opportunity to, as we did our life skill groups, we had the opportunity to navigate with it how we wanted to. And our first meeting that I had with my life skills group, who a really good group that I had, and I asked them, I said, well, what do you all want to talk about? And everything that I had already had written down, financial literacy, spiritual awareness, just everyday professional development and different things of that nature, just how to be better people. Everything I had already written down prior to that conversation, they said it in that meeting. So I knew I was on to something. And I knew that, what I would eventually begin to do was going to have meaning, because they already were impacted by it and already had the idea if that's what they needed. And I knew it was a greater audience that I could reach. So that's kind of how Open Arms is. Open Arms, touch your hand, touch your heart. THTH is what that stands for. And that's how it, I had the name probably some years ago. I actually had the name. It originally started off as Touch Your Hand, Touch Your Heart. And then as of recent, I was able to come up with Open Arms because I feel like I'm open to a lot of people and I'm in reach of a lot of people. So that's where that all came about.
Well, that's great. That's great, man. Where do you think and hope Open Arms will take you and the people you touch in life?
I just hope Open Arms is a space where that it can be beneficial to the community. I'm not looking to be someone that's just trying to chase clout or chase being out here and everybody knowing me off of just, speeches and things of that nature. It's really not just speaking. I go and I actually interact with teams, groups, and organizations and really give them the guidance they need through shared interaction. I'm very hands-on with it. I'm participating with them just as they are participating with me. So it creates a dynamic to really grow and learn far beyond the everyday ways of how people might interact. So I'm just hoping that I'm not hoping to change the world. I'm just hoping to impact communities. And if I'm impacting one community, then I've changed somebody's world in that community. And that's ultimately what matters.
Amen. And Ashe, and we know with your energy and your spirit, your skill set, and your history of being connected to folks who have poured into you. I know one of your games, the founder of our church, the Shrines of the Black Madonna, Jeramogi Pepe Ajiman, and Jeramogi Mentally Kamathi, came to one of you all's games. But I think that was just a testament to the type of people who have been a part of your journey and your experience. Nan, tell people how can they contact you and get involved in Open Arms?
So they can contact me a couple of different ways. I have an email, which is openarmstthth@gmail.com. They can reach me there. They can also reach me on all my social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at openarmstthth. And this will also be providing the link. I also have the link tree on those same websites that they can kind of tap into to be able to click on and get other information as well in regards to some of the content that I'm discussing and some of the things that I'm talking about within Open Arms, and they can tap in those ways.
Great. And how can viewers support Open Arms?
So I do have a donation link, and that donation link is one of the ways that people can support. I am a small business. I'm starting off, and it's really me right now. So just really getting the name out there. I do have that donation link, which will also be provided on the link tree link that I have. And then they can also just support by reaching out via email. I am open to supplies. I'm in need of supplies, making sure I have certain supplies when I go and present to different groups, things of that nature. So if people are open to supporting through supplies or, different things of that nature, advice, I'm open to advice. I'm not a closed book. I'm here to learn as much as possible. And I'm already tapping into a number of different people within some of the things that I'm practicing and teaching with the groups and teams and organizations that I work with. So if anybody wants to provide services or advice or skills in those areas of financial development and literacy, mind, body, and spirit practices, feel free to contact me via openarmstthth@gmail.com or on my social media sites. And most importantly, just encourage through positive vibrations. The more you support positively, the better things can come. I'm not big on what I can't do. I'm striving for what I will do, and that's ultimately what matters.
Well, on that note, why should viewers and others support Open Arms, would you say?
I think viewers should support Open Arms because Open Arms is who I am. It is the essence of me. It's not just me as a basketball coach. It's me as a life coach. It's me as everyday person that's interacting and doing community work. I am in the community along with my Open Arms business, we have community service projects within the program that we do. When I go work with people, we're doing community service projects. So I think if people are big on upliftment, empowerment, and seeing the best in people, support it. That's ultimately what we're designed to be, is the best version of ourselves. And if we have tools and guides to help us along that way, that enhances who we become. I didn't become here and get to this point just by waking up one day and just trying to figure stuff out. This has been strategic. This has been a path divine. I just had to get in alignment with it and walk with it. And as long as people can support that purpose and that vision, I think everybody will succeed.
Well, young lady, you're definitely aligned with your purpose and your gifts, I would say. And we're very proud of you. What final comments would you have?
I just want to thank everybody, definitely my parents, you and my mother. Both have been tremendous in who I have become. And although it may not seem like it all the time, it is. It takes a village. It definitely takes a group to help and support and guide. And, everywhere I go, family means a lot to me. It's a focus. I have a different type of focus because I ultimately am striving to be the best version of me. And at times that takes away from the care and the love of your family. However, I have family everywhere, and family is always in me. So I do want to thank you all, and definitely all the people who have believed in me. And any final words I can just say is just do what you can to be the best you can while you can. And if you are striving to do that each and every day, you'll be all right. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some things that you got to align. Definitely go through your own journey, whether that's healing, whether that's growing, whether that's tapping into something bigger than you. Go through it so you can grow through it, and that way it'll allow you to really be all that you have been designed to be. Coaching is not the end of it for me. I'm still a coach. I will continue to be a coach. It's just I've been called to greater purposes now, and I think everybody who's connected to me understands that.
Thank you so much for being with us on Visions of Our People. Nanyamka Afi Umwafrika Moor. We appreciate you. We bless you. We continue to pray for you and for Open Arms, that you can touch the lives of so many other young ladies who are out there who are where you used to be, and you can help guide them on a journey that you've already been on. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
Sometimes you're off when it feels like on. Sometimes you can't tell the night from dawn. Did the earth move, or did you take a turn? Did you just get hot, or did you just get burned? Open up your eyes and take a deep breath. Hold on tight while you hope for the best. You see, falling down feels a lot like flying. Giving birth feels so much like dying. So spread your wings. Don't you fall. Come down on your own. If you come down at all, spread your wings. Don't you fall. Don't you fall. Don't you fall.
Brothers and sisters, you have been witnessing the vision of Coach Nanyamka Moor. She's the owner of Open Arms, Touch a Hand, Touch a Heart, LLC. Visions of Our People highly recommends Open Arms THTH to any team, group, or organization looking for a hands-on approach to develop present and future tools for individual and team success. You can visit her website at www.direct.me/openarms.com. Or for more information, you can email her at openarmstht@gmail.com. You can support our Visions of Our People podcast by sending your contribution to our Cash App account at $Kefing Moor. Follow us on Facebook at Promote the Vision or on YouTube at Kefing Moor. Join us again for more Visions of Our People.
Thank you for joining us for Visions of Our People. We hope that our stories of commitment, perseverance, and triumph have inspired you to follow your vision of creating businesses, institutions, and services that uplift our brothers and sisters, serve our community, and make us the great people that our Creator made us to be. We wish you peace and blessings, and we invite you to join us again for Vision of Our People.